You are 24 years old. You just got a job, and you are looking at a car. Not because your old one broke down. The old one runs. It's just old. And you are tired of how it looks next to your coworkers' cars in the parking lot. Tired of how it jerks at traffic lights. Tired of explaining to people that it's temporary. The dealer says, monthly payment is only $380. You think, that's less than I spend on food. That's basically nothing. You sign the papers, and in that moment, that specific quiet moment at the desk in the dealership, a story begins that you never planned for. This is not a story about a car. This is a story about what happens to your life when you take on an obligation you cannot fully see on the day you sign for it. How it looks on the day you sign. You sit in a clean dealership office. It smells like coffee and new leather. The manager smiles and spreads the documents in front of you. He says a lot of words. APR, residual value, loan term, gap insurance, extended warranty. You nod. You understand roughly half of it. But you understood the main number, $380 a month. That is your anchor. Everything else is background noise. Here is what was written in the fine print you did not read. The car costs $28,000. Your down payment is $2,000. That means the loan balance is $26,000. Loan term, 72 months, 6 years. A PR, 7.9% because you are 24 with a short credit history. Total interest paid over 6 years, around $6,200. You will pay $34,200 for a car that costs $28,000. But that is not all. The car loses value. In the first year, around 20%. After 3 years, it is worth roughly $16,000. After 6 years, around $10,000. You will be paying $380 a month for a car that is worth less than you owe on it for approximately the first 4 years out of 6. This is called being underwater. You owe the bank more than the asset you bought is worth. But on the day you sign, you are not thinking about that. You are thinking about the new car. The first month. You pick up the car on a Friday evening. You drive home with the windows down. Music louder than usual. You park and look at it from the sidewalk. Black. Clean. Yours. You take a photo of it. On Monday, you arrive at work and park next to your coworker's car. They look similar. You feel something that is hard to name exactly. Not pride. Something closer to belonging. Like you are finally in the same league. Your coworker says, "New car." You say, "Yeah, just got it." He nods. The conversation lasted 8 seconds. You had been thinking about that conversation for 2 weeks before the purchase. The first 3 months. The first payment arrives, $380. You pay it. It does not hurt. You have the money. Then the insurance bill arrives. You learn something you had not accounted for. Insurance on a new financed car costs more than on an old one. The bank requires full coverage. Not minimum liability, full coverage. That is another $180 a month. So the car actually costs you $560 a month, not $380. Plus gas, $120. Plus maintenance, on average $600 a year, which is $50 a month. The car costs $730 a month. You did not calculate that on the day you signed. You calculated $380. $730 a month is $8,760 a year. Over 6 years, that is $52,560. Just on payments and upkeep. Not counting tickets, repairs, parking. But you do not think about it that way. You think about $730 a month, and you have it. For now. What changes in how you make decisions? You do not notice it right away. But after a few months, something starts happening to the way you think about money. Before the car, when you looked at your paycheck, you saw it whole. $3,200 after taxes. Your money. You decided what to do with it. Now you see it differently. $3,200 minus rent $1,100, minus car $730, minus phone $85, minus subscriptions $45. What is left? $1,240. That is your real money. For food, clothes, going out, unexpected expenses, and everything else that makes up a life. You are not poorer than before, but you are less free. These are different things. Poverty is when there is no money. Unfreedom is when the money exists, but it has already been allocated before you receive it. You can be not poor and still be trapped. Most Americans are exactly at this point. You took on an obligation that will require $730 every single month for the next 6 years, regardless of what happens in your life. Lost your job, $730. Got sick, $730. Fell in love and want to travel, $730 first. The car became the first line of your budget, not the last. The first. Before you. The conversation that never happened. About 8 months after the purchase, a coworker mentions he is moving to another company. $800 more a month. But the office is in a different part of the city. You think about it that evening, and you notice something strange. You are not thinking about your career. You are thinking about the car. Specifically, if you switch jobs and the new place has no parking, that is an extra $150 a month. And if the new company offers slightly less during the probation period, you cannot afford even 1 month of reduced income. You do not take the job. That is the first time the car makes a decision you thought was yours. You do not notice it. You think you simply weighed the pros and cons. Savings. At 24, you thought you would start putting money aside. Not specifically, just somewhere in the plan there was that line. When things settle down, when stability arrives, stability arrived. But it arrived with a loan. You save $150 a month, sometimes $200 if it was a good month. It is not zero, but it is less than it could have been. Financial advisors say that at 24 to 25 years old, every dollar invested works with maximum efficiency over your entire lifetime. Because there are 35 years of compound interest ahead. $380 a month, the amount you are sending to the bank invested in an index fund from age 24 would become approximately $120,000 by the time you are 60. You do not think about this at 24. Nobody does. That is normal, but it is true. Relationships and money. You are 25. You are seeing someone. It is serious. You start talking about shared plans, a trip, maybe moving in together into a better apartment, maybe something more. And then a conversation happens that you did not expect. She says, "I want to go to Europe this summer. 3 weeks. I have already started saving." You look at your budget. $1,240 in free money each month. Rent, food, clothes. A 3-week trip to Europe costs around $4,000. Flights, accommodation, food, activities. At your current savings rate, you need 8 months to accumulate that amount without spending on anything else. You say, "Let's do it next year." Financially, it's not a great time right now. She asks, "Why?" You have a job. You explain about the car, about the loan, about how the money exists, but it is already allocated. She listens, she nods, but something in her expression shifts. Not judgment. Just the understanding that you are in different places financially. It does not break the relationship, but it is the first time the car enters the room with you and sits down at the table like a third person in the conversation. The first breakdown. 25 years old, 18 months after the purchase. The car is under warranty. That is good, but the warranty does not cover tires, does not cover brake pads, does not cover what wears down from driving. You need to replace all 4 tires, $700. You look at your emergency fund, $900. What you saved over 8 months putting away $100 at a time. You spend $700 on tires. Balance, $200. 3 weeks later, the battery warranty runs out. It was not included in the base warranty. New battery, $180. Your emergency fund, $20. You start from zero. This is called financial vulnerability. You are not poor. You have a job and stable income, but you have no buffer. Any surprise? A medical bill? Losing your job? A serious repair? And you are in the negative. The car you bought to feel stable made you financially unstable. Halfway through the loan. You are 26. You have been paying for 2 years, 36 payments of $380. You have sent the bank $13,680. How much of that went toward paying down the actual balance? Open the amortization schedule, the document that was in your paperwork that you never read. In the first year, each $380 payment breaks down roughly like this. $170 goes to interest. $210 goes to principal. In the early months, the bank takes more in interest and pays down less of the balance. That is standard amortization. After 36 payments, you have paid down the balance by about $8,200. You still owe the bank around $17,800. The car is worth about $17,000 on the market right now. You are almost out from underwater. Almost. The apartment conversation. You are 26. A friend tells you he found an apartment, a good one, good neighborhood, rent $1,400. He offers to split it, $700 each. You do the math. Right now you pay $1,100 for your own place. $700 would save you $400 a month. Over a year, that is $4,800. But the apartment is in a different neighborhood. Further from work. By car, 35 minutes. By public transit, an hour 10. You drive, because you have a car, because you are paying for a car. Extra gas, around $80 a month. Extra wear on the car, hard to calculate exactly, but real. Net savings, $320 a month instead of $400. You move. It is the right decision. But again you notice it. The car is in the calculation. It is always in the calculation. What happens to your career? You are 26. You have been at the same job for 2 years. A coworker tells you about a startup, small company, interesting work, equity, but the salary for the first 6 months during probation is $600 less than what you make now. You do the math. Minus $600 a month for 6 months is $3,600. With your current buffer, that is impossible. You cannot afford 6 months at a lower salary. You have fixed obligations that do not move. You stay at your current job. The startup sells 2 years later. Your coworker receives $40,000 from his equity. You either do not know about it, or you know, but try not to think about it. That is the second time the car makes a career decision on your behalf. The first serious repair. The warranty has ended. The car is 4 years old. First serious repair, brake system. $1,100. You pay it. It hurts, but it is not a catastrophe. You finally manage to build a small buffer. But now you think about the car differently. Before it was new and reliable. Now it is just a loan plus expenses plus unpredictable repairs. You look at the numbers. You have 24 more months of payments. $380 a month. Total, $9,120. The car is worth $14,000 on the market right now. You owe the bank about $9,000. If you sell, you get $5,000 clear. But you do not sell, because then you need another car. And another car means another loan, or a large lump sum you do not have. You keep paying. The conversation that keeps repeating. You are 27. You and your girlfriend have been living together for a year. She says, I found a good program, a master's degree, part-time, $12,000 for 2 years. I am thinking of taking out a student loan. You think, another loan in the household. Then you think, wait, that is her loan, not mine. Then you think, but if we are building something together, these are our combined obligations. Then you think, what if I want to take some course or program myself? You look at the budget. Your free money is still around $1,200 a month, after all fixed payments. $1,200 between 2 people if you want to save anything at all. The conversation stalls. Not because there is no money, but because there are obligations that do not move. The car is in the room again. The first time you actually do the math. You are 27 years and 8 months old. You sit in the evening with your phone, and for the first time, you genuinely calculate what this car has cost you. Loan, $380 a month times 48 months already paid equals $18,240. Still owe $9,120. Insurance, $180 times 48 equals $8,640. Gas, $120 times 48 equals $5,760. Maintenance and repairs over 4 years, approximately $4,200. Total spent on the car in 4 years, $36,840. The car is worth $14,000 today. You spent $36,840 on an asset worth $14,000. You sit with that number, you do not panic, you just sit. And you think about the person you were at 24, who thought $380 a month was basically nothing. The housing market. You are 28. You and your girlfriend start talking about buying a home. Not tomorrow, but seriously. In a year, maybe 2. You go to a mortgage broker just to look at numbers. He pulls your credit report, says, credit score is good, 710. But there is a nuance. When a bank calculates a mortgage, it looks at your DTI, your debt-to-income ratio. The maximum comfortable DTI for getting a good mortgage rate is 36%. Your income right now is $4,100 a month. You got a raise. 36% of $4,100 is $1,476. That is the maximum monthly debt obligation for a good rate. Your current obligations, car $380 plus minimum credit card payment $65 equals $445 a month. That means for a mortgage, you have $1,476 minus $445, which is $1,031 a month. At current prices in your city, $1,031 a month is a mortgage on roughly $180,000 to $190,000. With a 10% down payment, you can afford a home around $200,000 to $210,000. That does not exist in your neighborhood. The minimum for a decent apartment is $280,000. Without the car, your available mortgage budget would be $1,411 a month. That is a home around $260,000 to $270,000. Still difficult, but closer. You walk out of the broker's office and for the first time you think about the car not as an expense, as a wall. 12 months left. You are 28 and a half. 12 payments left. $4,560. The car is 5 years old, 67,000 miles. Running fine, nothing critical. But you look at it differently than on the day you picked it up from the dealership. Back then, it was a symbol of a new life, stability, belonging to something. Now it is just a car you have almost paid off. Metal and rubber for which you have spent 6 years of your life at $380 a month. You park next to your coworker's car. His is similar but newer. He looks at yours and says, "Thinking about upgrading?" You say no. And for the first time that word comes out without any explanation. Just no. The month the loan ends. You are 29 years and 11 months old, last payment. You transfer $380 and look at your banking app. Loan balance, $0. No fanfare, no notification with confetti. Just zero. You sit with that zero for a few minutes. 6 years. 72 payments. $27,360 in loan payments alone. Plus insurance, gas, maintenance. Total spent on the car. Over $50,000. On a car now worth $10,000. You think, well, okay, at least now I have no payment. And that is true. The $380 a month that was going to the bank is yours now. But you are thinking about something else. What would have happened if you had not taken the loan? You are 30. You sit down and do the math. Not to suffer, just to understand. Scenario A is what happened. Car loan, $380 a month for 6 years. Scenario B is the alternative. You buy a used car for $8,000 cash. You save for 8 to 12 months, putting aside $700 to $900 a month instead of spending it. The car is older, less impressive, but yours. No payments. In scenario B, you would have had $380 a month free starting at age 24. $380 a month invested in an index fund at 8% annual return over 6 years is $35,200, not $35,200 saved. $35,200 with growth included. That is a down payment on an apartment. That is a financial cushion that would have let you change jobs. That is 3 months of freedom if something went wrong. It did not happen. You hold that thought. It does not destroy you, but you hold it. What actually changed over 6 years? You are 30. You look back and try to honestly answer the question. What did the car loan do to your life? Not a catastrophe. No, you did not go broke. You did not lose your job because of the car. You did not destroy your relationship. But here is what happened. You did not change jobs twice, both times because of the financial rigidity the loan created. You did not go to Europe at 25. You saved $14,000 by 30 instead of a potential $35,000 to $40,000. You still rent the same apartment because you do not have a down payment for a mortgage. You spent 6 years with a fixed obligation that participated in every financial decision you made. Every single one. Quietly. Invisibly. The car did not break you. It just slowed you down. For 6 years. During the most financially important years of your life, from 24 to 30. When every money decision carries the longest consequences. What you know at 30 that you did not know at 24. You are 30. You sit in the evening. If you could talk to yourself at 24, not to forbid the purchase, just to explain what is actually happening, you would say this. You are not buying a car. You are buying an obligation. 6 years of a fixed monthly payment that will be present in every decision you make about work, housing, relationships, travel, and risks you want to take. A car loan does not give you freedom. A car loan takes your freedom and gives you the illusion of status. Status in the parking lot, an 8-second conversation with a coworker. The price of that conversation, $50,000 and 6 years of financial unfreedom. This does not mean do not buy a car. It means understand what you are actually buying. The 30-year-old version of you knows this. The 24-year-old version did not. What to do instead. This is not a video about cars being bad. This is a video about the fact that a car loan at 24 has a specific price that nobody shows you at the dealership. Here are 3 paths that exist. The first path. A used car for cash. $6,000 to $10,000. Japanese. Reliable. Not impressive. You save for 8 to 12 months, putting aside $700 to $900 a month instead of spending it. It requires patience. It works. The second path. If you do finance a car, keep the loan short. Not 6 years, 3 years maximum. The monthly payment will be higher, but you pay roughly half as much in interest. And you are out of the obligation at 27 instead of 30. The third path. If you are buying a new car, calculate the full cost. Not $380 a month. Loan plus insurance, plus gas, plus maintenance. That is your real number. If it is more than 15% of your monthly take-home pay, you are buying more than you can actually afford. These are not rules someone invented. This is just the math of what happens to money over time. You are 30, the loan is closed, the car is yours. You look at it from the parking lot. It is older. There is a small scratch on the left side and you remember exactly how it got there. The paint has faded slightly where the sun hits it. You do not take a photo of it. You think about your 24-year-old self in the dealership. The clean office, the smell of coffee and new leather, the manager spreading documents and saying a lot of words. You think, he was not lying to you. He just was not telling you everything, and you were not asking for everything, because you were looking at the car. The most expensive decisions in life rarely look expensive in the moment you make them. They look like $380 a month, like basically nothing. The price only becomes visible later. When you look back now, while there is still time.